Only it fit in there, right? That would be too amazing. That would be too amazing. What about that? That's reasonable. What was I just thinking a second ago? Overproduction leads to a toxic product. Production always has byproducts. Not on a large scale. Like, think about even if you just, create a spindle to make a fire with a stick, you still have, the sawdust. That is your byproduct of your production. Or, you know what I mean? It's like things fall off to the side, which is waste, pretty much, unless you can find a way to then use that. But even when you use that, there'll probably still be some kind of waste or something that you'll get smoke off of it, particles in it. Whatever it is, there's always a byproduct of production. Maybe. It's just a thought I was having. So when you overproduce, so say you're going to make 5,000 spindles, you start to have such an accumulation, an unnatural amount of this byproduct that it's no longer just waste, it becomes toxic waste. Whether it's literally toxic or metaphorically, hypothetically, spiritually. And then overproduction, mass production leads to a toxic product. Not just the waste or the byproduct. Literally the whole thing becomes toxic. The system, all of it. And that's metaphorical as well as literal. Physical or metaphysical. Good segue. Good way to segue out of the parking spot there as we back out. But so I wrote this. Check out this piece of cardboard. It's literally from a case at work. I wrote this note here. Probably can't read that. Let's drive through this parking lot safely here. Whenever I'm driving through parking lots, I feel like somebody's just going to back out right in front of me. No matter how slow I'm going, I feel like they're just going to go, slam right into you. And so whenever I go through a parking lot, I'm extremely careful because the smart thing to do would be cancel that thought out. Just cancel that thought. Never happen. That could never happen. What you think about expands. It's the secret of the universe. Now, alright, seatbelt, good idea. I'll take that reminder. Stimulate the physical existence. So they, the great they, stimulate the physical existence so much that the non-physical becomes unnoticeable. It kind of vanishes. It's not stimulated. So think about it real simply. If you overdo one of your senses, does it render your other senses inoperable? Playing devil's advocate here. I mean, it's like I'm of the opinion that if you get so overindulged, if you stimulate the physical experience, maybe not experience so much that the non-physical becomes unnoticeable, forgotten, lost, disconnected. They stimulate our physical experience so much, like they've put all these ways for us to be physically distracted and physically tied in. Yeah, we could do the opposite. Okay, I know what alright, we'll do this. So they stimulate the physical experience so much that the non-physical becomes unnoticeable, forgotten, lost, disconnected, interfered with, less noticeable, harder to see. The non-physical becomes harder to associate with, maybe harder to feel, harder to connect with, harder to align with. I mean, you could keep going, but then put that in the opposite. Let me try to get that thought back again because it was profound. Stimulate the physical experience so much that the non-physical becomes unnoticeable, forgotten, lost, disconnected.